I can't speak for the people in the compound because I don't know.
Do you think they do?
Repeat the question again, please.
Do you believe that the FBI agents and other representatives of state governments as well as the federal government who are outside that compound are the representatives of legitimate power?
Yes, I do. I think we have a government in this country, and I think it was designed that way in the very beginning. I think it is managed by we the people, like I said, and I think that the key thing here is that we need a peaceful solution to this problem. They need to come out. They need to come out and face their forum in a court of law, and state their problems in a court of law under a system that's just.
Mr. Trockman, the militias of Montana issued a press release urging other kindred spirits, other militia members around the country, to stay in your area where you may be needed. What did you have in mind? Or what did the militias of Montana have in mind by that?
What we had in mind is if anyone from another state wishes to come visit Montana, they better do it without their guns. We don't need help from other states. We would like to see a peaceful settlement to this just like everyone else would. Now, if we look at the federal agencies and their actions at Randy Weaver and at Waco, they have not acted like that this time. Perhaps they've learned something.
What did you mean by saying that they might be needed in their areas?
To keep their people home.
Mr. Parsons, you say you want a peaceful end to this, but why did you begin in the first place? As I understand it, these people lost their ranch because of hard times, couldn't pay off their mortgage, but instead of agreeing that their ranch was going to have to be sold, they simply said, no, it's ours, we're going to keep it. I mean, you don't defend that, or do you?
No, Sam, I don't. I want a peace. We're in a situation, and what our position at Tri-States is we're monitoring it nationally. We have people on the ground, and what those people are saying is, don't come to Montana. Stand down, stay home, watch it. Make sure that it doesn't lead into another Waco or another Ruby Ridge, but stand down. Let's start getting some calm and some reason in this thing. Let's get this hype out of it.
Well, stand down meaning what exactly?
Stand down meaning stay in your own areas, keep in contact with your whatever network you work with, find out the information, but stay at home. They don't, you know, when you have 500 militia guys run to Montana, then the FBI or the state authorities feel uncomfortable, so they raise their ante, and then the militia raises their ante. Just stay home and let the negotiators and the people there on site handle this problem so we don't have a Waco or a Ruby Ridge. Let's everybody calm down, let these people come out, turn themselves over to the authorities and go through the courts, and then we monitor the court process to be sure that they're getting a fair break.
Mr. Trockman, what if they don't come out? I mean, how does it end?
Well, Sam, I'd like not to think of it that way. We do not want bloodshed in America, nor do we want military intervention. The way it's being handled is, I believe, proper. Let's play the waiting game with them. Let's use the pressure of the relatives and public scrutiny to make sure this comes out right. I'm not even willing to speculate what if it doesn't, Sam. I don't like to look at it that way.
In other words, it could come to starving them out?
Well, I don't think they'll stay there forever if they're starved.
Mr. Trockman, you're accused of being a racist and a bigot.
Well, I don't believe people have looked into my heart to see what I'm all about. I am not a racist or a bigot.
Well, in papers filed, you seem to make a distinction between a state citizen, which you say you are, and people of color who you say are citizens of this country by virtue of the 14th Amendment. Is there a distinction?
No, Sam. It doesn't say people of color in my statement. It says state citizen versus one that's controlled by the federal government. It's an issue of freedom. It's an issue of jurisdiction. It's not an issue of color. We're all in this mess together, Sam, in this country, and we better put away our racial differences, our religious differences, our political and our economic differences, and put our country back together. That's plain and simple.
So there's no difference between white Christians, as you describe yourself, and people who, by virtue of the 14th Amendment, were brought into the federal system?
Well, I think the 14th Amendment put us all into slavery. It was the blacks under the 14th, the Native Americans before that. Now we all find ourselves under the tyranny of federal government encroaching on states and local rights. And I don't think that's right.
Mr. Parsons, in terms of the common law courts that have been set up around the country by various militia groups, do you think that those are legitimate?
First of all, the common law courts have set up their common law courts. Let's decipher militias from the common law movement right now. Militias, constitutional militias, are here for the defense and the preservation of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. If people in the patriot community have set up common law courts, I think some of those common law courts have been done very well and handled very well.
But why do you need courts outside of the court system?
Because I think those people are making a statement, airing their concerns. And again, some of those folks have done it in a very good forum, in a very good manner. And
where does their legitimacy come from?
I beg your pardon?
Where do they get any legitimacy?
I think their statement is where they get their legitimacy, and I think they have some concerns. And I think they have some concerns that we might want to look into, that bear looking into. But what I don't agree with are some of the tactics that may have been used or are being used by the situation in Montana.
Like what?
Like threatening judges and threatening officials. If those allegations, and I say if because we're still innocent here until proven guilty, if those allegations bear fruit and they have intimidated local sheriffs or people like that, I do not agree categorically with those kind of tactics.
What about the question of bilking their local businesses by issuing phony checks?
I don't agree with that tactic either. I don't think two wrongs